pretty good road trip so far. What do you want from your team tonight?
Well, keep playing close to 60 minutes as you can. I think that's the key. Obviously, with Colorado, there's some high-end skill over there that we've got to be mindful of, maybe more so than most nights. I thought we did a good job against Hughes and Garland the other night in Vancouver. They'd been driving their offense, so it's obviously McCarr and McKinnon are the first two you circle. So let's make sure that we, make it really, if they're going to be the guys that do the damage, make them work for it, make them earn it. So that'll be the game plan going in.
They've changed a lot over the year, and certainly since the last time you saw them. Do you see anything different about Colorado?
Well, their goaltending has been upgraded, and they've got better out of that position, so that's going to keep you in a lot more games, deeper down the middle. They still play the same way. Just have a few, no disrespect, but a few better players in their lineup, and most of the teams that had movement at the deadline, that's what happens, right? Now theirs came earlier than that, but they're a solid team, but again, we know them well enough how their style of play is and how you got to slow them down. They're really, really good in the O-zone. They have a good rush game, but the O-zone is where I think they do a lot of damage. So we got to limit the amount of time we're going to spend in there, and when we do spend time in there, keep them to the outside because they get pucks into the middle of the ice as good as any team I've seen.
We're in a different time zone than Edmonton and LA are right now. Did you stay up to see the results of those games, or was that a happy surprise for you when you woke up this morning to see they both lost?
Yeah, I did not stay up to watch the games. I saw the scores, and then tucked myself into bed and slept with a smile on my face. Yeah.
Sorry, big picture question. I asked Jared this today earlier. How did you form your coaching identity? What kind of led you? You're not how did you decide what kind of coach you want to be?
I won twice with two different coaches, Daryl Sutter in the IHL, equivalent of the American League back then, and then in junior with Brian Kilray. And both of those teams were, even though there was skill on the team, they're very good defensive teams. So I decided I thought that was the best way to win. Have an identity where you're going to be hard to play against, keep the puck out of your net. So that's how I kind of, saw my path. It became a lot clearer in Boston when you follow a guy like Claude Julien and put an imprint down on that type of play. And I took over a team that, was ready, had played that way. That's how they won a Stanley Cup. We mixed in maybe a little more pace on offense, using your D a little more. And that's how I come to kind of run the Vegas team.
And then come playoff time, do you give up your responsibilities among your assistant coaches more? Do you give up more autonomy, or how does that work?
No, we don't change much. I think, if anything, I'll probably look at the opposition even more than I would during the regular season. The regular season, they do a lot of the pre-scout. Like, they've broken down Colorado much more than I have. I focus on my own team, and then use their work to go through what I need to implement that night or focus on. I think in the playoffs, to me as a head coach, I'm looking at the other team a lot more because now it's them night after night, and maybe a tendency here or there could be the difference in a win or loss. So I think you better know your opposition as well as you can.
At this point in the season, most people have clinched their playoff spots now. You're getting into home ice clinching situations. Are you paying attention to a lot of that?
Yeah. Gary just reminded me, nice, that another game off the list for teams chasing us. So, yes, we definitely keep an eye on it. I think coaches are guys that look at the standings a lot. I don't talk to our players much about the standings all year. Now you have to address it because there is something on the line. And at this time of the year, I think players are looking towards the finish line. I think it's human nature after 6 long months. So we have to keep focused in the day-to-day and remind them what's at stake. So now is probably when we discuss it a little more.
What do you focus on just during this last little stretch? Like, what do you want to see from the team? Is it consistency?
Yeah, I would say as close to 60 minutes to your identity as possible. We got away from it last week at home. We addressed it. We were much better against Calgary and Vancouver, how we're supposed to look if we expect to win. And teams look different, right? So, but we need to look like the Vegas Golden Knights when they're at their best. So that's our biggest focus, and that's, like I said, usually probably lower scoring games. It shouldn't be a 6-5 game this time of the year. If you're playing the way you feel you need to play in the playoffs, your penalty kill, that's important in the playoffs. Try to drill down on that as much as possible. We've done a better job with that, so that's kind of how we're looking at it.